Okay, I'm here with Richard Blakeway, the Mayor's Advisor on Housing. Could you talk us through some of the particular issues for CLTs in urban areas like London?
Absolutely. I think the challenges which urban areas face, the challenges which London face, in many ways are similar to the challenges which rural areas face, but they're accentuated. So, for example, the idea of complex communities, the challenges over high land values, all of these are existent within rural communities, but they're accentuated within urban communities. But also, on the flip side, the opportunities could be greater for CLTs in urban areas, and that's why we're looking at regeneration schemes where you've already dealt with issues over the community, you've already dealt with issues over land, to see whether we can connect CLTs to those and deliver more CLTs.
You talked through the example of Shoreditch. Can you talk us through that, some of the problems that they had in their attempt to get a CLT?
Absolutely. I think Shoreditch was an excellent initiative which was a bid very professionally put together, which overcame many of the financial barriers, which was very innovative. The residential properties were going to be financed through commercial rents, so there was a cross-subsidy taking place. It meant that there was opportunities to work connected to opportunities to live. Unfortunately, it fell at the last hurdle over EU procurement rules, which I think we're all fairly suspicious was of it being used as an excuse not to do it, rather than a real reason to prevent it happening.
And what are you doing in London to help push the cause for CLTs?
Okay, we believe that what we actually need to do is, rather than find a site, often a site which is not very developable, is often disconnected for infrastructure and say, there you go, get on with it, deliver a CLT, go through the bids process, only to watch it inevitably fail over some technical hurdle. Instead, what we want to do is look at all the barriers which are preventing CLTs taking place on a large scale and remove those barriers. So we brought together all the agencies involved, from the local authorities through to the HCA that provides funding, through to the TSA that deals with tenant issues, and then get them to work together to remove the barriers, so we can not just say we've done the first CLT in London, but we can also say that we've removed the barriers to do the second, third and so on.
What do you think the biggest barriers are?
I think the biggest barrier at the moment is the barrier over whether CLTs can offer value for money. I think as the public purse gets tighter, people will say, is this a good use of value of public funding? Could we deliver more homes by investing that money elsewhere? Which is why one of the critical things which we've got to do, and which is why we've asked the HCA to set up a facilitation fund, is to say, okay, how can we provide some public money, but actually use that to unlock institutional investment and private finance to fund CLTs.
And what's your vision for CLTs in London?
I think my vision is one where we can have communities which are generally shaped by people, who live in the community and work in the community. I think one of the great things about the definition in the Act, which Grant brought forward, is the fact that it deals not just with people who live there, but it also deals with people who work there. And in housing policy across the board, we have these great aims, these holy grails of mixed communities and sustainable communities. And in reality, the only way you can deliver both mixed and sustainable communities is to actually empower people. And that isn't sort of siloing them up and saying, here's your nomination rights, this is what you're entitled to. It's actually saying, okay, how do you build a community from scratch, from start? And that's what I'd like to see happening in London.